6 years ago, the Marvel Spider-Man franchise began, and for 6 years, Spider-Man fans have been well fed with a constantly evolving story that honors the past of the character and welcomes the new. A perfect balance of adaptation versus evolution. Incredible gameplay to match the trilogy's excellent narrative. What more as an audience can we ask for? A fourth game. I want a fourth game. And this is my wish list for Marvel Spider-Man 3.
You never gave up. Never backed down. Go time? Go time.
I never stopped wanting to.
Me neither. We're gonna heal the world.
Then I remember what my dad used to say. A hero is just a guy who doesn't give up.
The doctor said we still have 14 broken bones.
Which means I have 192 non-broken ones.
I want more suits.
I want more,
You serious?
and I know I shouldn't.
Comic suits, like the Ben Reilly's sensational Spider-Man suit and shaders to match. Actually, one big issue I had with Marvel Spider-Man 2's suit shader was the lack of symbiote shaders. I felt that every eligible suit could have had like an all-black version. It seems like a slam dunk for the symbiote game. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. Many fans online felt like the suits were a little lackluster in 2, and I'm not sure I would go that far, but I would agree that, especially for Peter, there were a lot more returning suits than there were original suits. And I get it, Peter has such a massive publication history dating back over 60 years. There was a lot of suits that they could have pulled from movies, TV shows, comics, that they didn't. Personally, I felt the most disappointed in the lack of symbiote suits, considering this is most likely the only game where we're going to get a proper black suit Spider-Man. Yes, in the future entries, I'm sure the symbiote suits will return, but it won't be the same without the actual symbiote in the game. I guess there's the possibility of doing a Back in Black arc, but I find that pretty doubtful. I think once Peter has removed the symbiote in 2, we're not really going to see him rekindle with the symbiote anytime soon. If anything, they'll transition more to Flash Thompson, Eddie Brock, or stay with Harry. In the event of getting a Venom solo game, which we definitely don't know anything about and wasn't leaked a few months ago, I would like to see Venom return as a playable character. We got a little taste in 2, and it was glorious. It was everything that I imagined it to be and reminded me of playing Ultimate Spider-Man in 2005 when I was a little guy and a young lad. Now this game's already going to be massive, most likely with 3 playable characters, so I'm not sure how likely this is to happen, but it would be cool to see Venom launching from building to building, grappling, kind of like he did in Ultimate Spider-Man. The one thing that I think they could do that would be interesting is have 2 forms of Venom, Agent Venom and Monster Venom. Have Agent Venom be faster, have a lot of projectiles, and use his webs, whereas Monster Venom is just an absolute beast. He's a tank, he takes big hits, but he's slow, and he does a lot of AoE attacks. More than likely, everyone will be using Monster Venom, but just to have that option would be really cool. And I did like in that cutscene in Marvel Spider-Man 2 when Agent Venom was traversing, he was sort of web swinging, but it was more like he was launching himself. I thought that was really cool, and I would love to see some sort of traversal like that return. Listen, I gotta get the elephant in the room out of the way. I like the MJ missions, and I don't know, I just like when the game slows you down a little bit and offers an alternative perspective to Spider-Man as a contrast, to see how the world views these uncanny events occurring without superpowers. It's kind of grounded. But what I don't like is when MJ went full Doom dude. She was dropping symbiotes like she was top frag in the 501st Legion, and it just sort of disconnects you from the stakes and really tarnishes what could have been an extremely intense stealth mission. Much like the mission where Peter hunts MJ. So yeah, I'd like to see the MJ missions return, but maybe in a more grounded sense. Sure, it's hard to balance fun with realism, but again, when you put MJ in these situations where she's taking out multiple monsters, highly trained hunters, it kind of takes you out of the story and out of the stakes. It is really hard to ask for anything more than what Insomniac gave us in 2, traversal-wise, and almost unfathomable to imagine it any better. But I will do it anyways. I think the parkour could be maybe a little more interactive with his web swinging. Like, if you've built up your momentum and hit the ground running, is there any way to keep that momentum into a sprint that causes Spidey to parkour over these structures and return to his swing? Yeah, we sort of see that in the wall running, but it would be nice to see that on the ground traversal as well. Listen, every single wishlist video I have seen says they don't like TASM 2, the game, but would love to see the slingshot back. And yeah, like, the TASM 2 game sucks. But can we have this? It's not a deal breaker, but it's cool. And the rule of cool is you should add it into the game, Insomniac. But like I said, I really don't have much to ask for in the way of traversal, but I would love to see more chases. I don't know if you consider this a gameplay mechanic or just something that's cool that was sort of absent in 2, but Spider-Man games always have these awesome chase scenes. The Lizard was awesome in Marvel Spider-Man 2, but I'd love to see more if they fit well in the narrative. And the Black Cat scene with the portals, they were cooking, man. Like, they really took the PS5 and just, let's figure out what we can do with this thing. I love you, Insomniac. More than likely, there is going to be 3 playable characters in Miles, Peter, and Cindy, or Silk. I think the way that they should differentiate themselves a little bit is actually in the combat and less in the traversal. I think what would be cool would to see Silk maybe prioritize using interesting web attacks, sort of like the standard Spider-Man in Shattered Dimensions. Miles probably has the best kit out of all of them, and I think that not only is he a powerhouse, but he could be the stealth guy. They can all do these different traits, but have one be really good at a particular thing. And I think Caboose said this in his video. Miles should be the stealth guy. He goes invisible. It makes sense. Make it happen. And Peter, I mean, he's the brawler. So have him be the... He's out there fighting for his life. He is giving out some fisticuffs, man. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is just the combat at its best. And I know all the Web of Shadow fans are really mad at me. I get it. I've played the game too. Also 200 times, but let's be honest, it's not getting remastered. Marvel doesn't even know what it is. Let's just let it go, okay? Speaking of Web of Shadows, don't forget it just yet, because they had a really cool mechanic, which was wall combat. It was like an extra dimension to the combat, where you could be scaling a wall and fighting symbiotes or whoever was up there. That was really cool and kind of seamless, the way that you would go from just like regular combat to wall combat. That was amazing. So if we could incorporate something like that in 3, that would be awesome. It's not super high on my priority list. I don't know how much application there would be for it, but wall combat is definitely a cool thing that I would like to see in Marvel Spider-Man 2. I mean, go back to the older Spider-Man games and you will find a lot of interesting ideas that maybe didn't get completely cooked, and Insomniac could cook them up for us. Like a medium rare sirloin, or whatever is the most expensive steak. Let's talk about stealth and gadgets. And honestly, this is truly the only aspect of 2 that really let me down. They decided to essentially axe the gadgets and stealth to emphasize combat, which I do understand, especially for this game, but I was personally very disappointed by it. I'm like an Arkham maniac, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to use my spectacular spider powers to take out enemies in the shadows. The gadgets added just like such a cool variety, not only to like stealth, but combat. And yeah, 99% of the time you could easily dispatch all of your enemies with a good old punch to the jaw and a kick to the nards. I really enjoyed the option to sneak up on enemies and make sure they would wake up in like 3 to 5 fiscal years. But last but not least, and in my opinion, one of the most important aspects outside of story is the likely choice of their main antagonist, the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin is the Spider-Man villain, the yin to Peter's yang, the essence of greed versus the idealism of selflessness. I see Peter and Norman less as enemies and more as a reflection of an eternal struggle, good versus evil. Not men, but forces at odds. It has to be done well, better than anything they have ever done. This rivalry is so important because these characters test each other beyond any others. I think the Green Goblin, but more specifically Norman Osborn, is the most iconic villain and antagonist to Spider-Man. And I've been a fan of this rivalry since I was a little guy, reading Spider-Man comics and watching the Raimi films. But there is really no one I trust more with this character than the team at Insomniac. The truth is, I really just made this wish list because it's fun. I don't worry about this game at all. The past 6 years, Spider-Man fans have been treated to a really original and creative story made by Insomniac Games. And I want to take the chance to show my appreciation for how much I love these games and how much enjoyment I get out of them. I think that they've served the character and its legacy better than any adaptation in recent years, and I just love being a fan of these games. So yeah, I'm excited for Marvel Spider-Man 3. I feel like the past 3 games, they really haven't let me down, and I feel like I can trust Insomniac, so I'm very excited for Marvel Spider-Man 3. And that's pretty much it for my wishlist videos. So if you guys enjoyed, I'm going to have a lot more videos like this, so feel free to stick around. I'll have another one cooked up for you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.